Hey everybody, it's Stephanie Ward of fireflycoaching.com, and I'm here today with Vivian Acquah. Welcome, Vivian.
Welcome. Thank you, Stephanie, for having me on your show. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
I am too, because we just did a little pre-chat, and I know there's some really good stuff coming. But before we dive into that, I want to officially read Vivian's bio so that you get an idea about who Vivian is. As an inclusive workplace wellness advocate, Vivian Acquah advises managers on how to keep their team members engaged, energized, and safe in a sustainable manner. Vivian is making topics related to workplace wellness and DEI accessible to everyone. She provides people with the right tools at the right time to embrace inclusive changes. Vivian motivates people to think consciously and inspires them to take action.
Ooh, it's all about the action,
right? Because if you don't take action, what's the point?
Tell the people.
Tell the people. So I love your action-oriented statement there, and you have built a successful business. I mean, you're known everywhere you go. You have this amazing brand. Tell us how you have done this and what your top marketing strategies are so we can learn from you.
Yeah, so it took a while for me to come out of my shell, because even though I'm very tall and very noticeable, I am a ambivert. So I used to be an introvert for a very long time, and now you, as an entrepreneur, you have to make yourself visible, make yourself known, and a way to do that is by speaking, right? I love talking. It took me a while to become more comfortable in talking, but one of the things that I challenge myself to do more, if I want to take this speaking business seriously, first show up on other people's podcasts and then, start your own show. I have some experience in the past from what I did with Cooking Back to Our Roots, where I learned so many things from producing a producing a television cooking show where you would only see 20 minutes, but it took a whole day of work. Learned that, and I thought, not gonna do that, but I'm gonna do something that is comfortable and manageable by me, myself, and I, and of course a small team that is supporting me as well.
So you said you started by, you knew you had to come out of your shell, but you started by being on other people's shows.
Yeah.
How long did you do that before you started on your own?
I think maybe about half a year or 3/4 of a year. It took me a while to be more comfortable on my own. And also the thing is, I am native Dutch. So at home, we are speaking Pidgin English, which is some kind of a slang African English as well.
Okay.
And I had this gremlin on my shoulder saying that you don't speak English as well, well, right? And I would put myself in the Dunglish category, where I would translate everything into Dutch or mix up Dutch English words, right? And if I want to, I could vision myself being the speaker that I am right now, and I am dreaming of much more of my future. But then again, I have to challenge myself. I have to put myself out there. And one of the ways to be visible in the comfort of your own home is having a conversation similar like this one, where you can talk, right? Invest in a good mic, invest in a good camera, invest in a good area or a room where you can have a quiet conversation and enjoy the conversation, because I know that this is going to be listened by millions and millions of people, but I'm having a conversation with Stephanie, and that's how I went into that conversation.
I love that. Just don't focus on how many people are listening. Focus on the conversation you're having with the one person.
Yeah.
And also, I love that you brought up the language thing, because I hear that a lot. I work with a lot of global people and who speak multiple languages, which is so impressive. And to me, if we can understand each other, that's all that ever matters to me. Like, because I obviously make loads of mistakes in Dutch. But I think people have that feeling when you realize that someone's speaking so many different languages. And I would have to say your English is unbelievably amazing. Like, you have no Dutch accent, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Which, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, anyway. Okay. So video was getting on the stage, getting in front of a video camera. How have you used speaking and video to connect with clients? How has that worked for you?
It has been a very nice surprise. So instead of me calling them, they are calling me. So
okay, hold on, people. Do you hear what she just said?
Yeah.
Everyone that's complaining to me, I don't want to do cold calls, I don't want to reach out. She just said people are calling her. Please continue. This is so good.
The reason why is because I have to do a confession. I hate sales calls. I am just sharing that right now. It's not my favorite thing to do, but for people to warm up to me, right? People need to get to know you. People need to get to see you. People need to see if their energy or your energy is aligned to their organization, is aligned to their mission. And one way for me to easily do that is to have different conversations online. And the way that I utilize that is I started with Facebook Live a long time ago, where it was me, myself, and I.
Okay.
If you don't see any conversation, or you see not that many conversations where I'm the only one talking, because I don't like that. I'm a conversation person where I would like to have a conversation with you, or, answer questions where we are having an engaging conversation. So the moment that I knew that, that's the moment where I realized that I want to have a conversation with different people. And it doesn't matter if we are working in the same field or we are almost working with similar clients. To me, it's about what are the lessons that I'm learning? What are the lessons that my potential client is learning? And also to create that connection, right, with any other person, because you never know who's watching, who's going to recommend your name to their manager, to the person who has the power to hire you, so that you are asked for speaking engagement, for instance, or you are being hired for training. So live videos has been a way in for me, but also converting those content, right? So the way that I work my live videos is I go live on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Okay, and how do you do that? How do you do that, real quick?
I am using StreamYard.
Right. Okay.
I'm using StreamYard. It's an investment. It's not cheap. It's an investment. But then again, that investment has been paid out long time ago. So I'm willing to put that in.
Great.
If you want to invest small, you can broadcast on LinkedIn Live, or you can broadcast on Facebook and at YouTube, right? I do recommend YouTube because YouTube is the biggest search engine and highest ranking as well, where you can come up earlier as well. So I do recommend that. But I have a trigger on YouTube. Every time I put a film or a movie into a playlist, within a few days, that unedited conversation, so I'm not polishing it, unedited conversation can be listened to it on as a podcast. Okay. The reason why I'm doing that, I had only a podcast before, and I know how perfectionistic I can be.
Okay.
And when I'm having a conversation, right, you hear me breathing, you hear me, making those little things there. And I used to edit those things out, and I'm just like, okay, I'm having a conversation where I'm breathing, where I'm human, where I'm being human. I decided to leave that as is, because that's not where the power lies. For me, the power lies into the live conversation, and for me to show my energy, to express my energy. And afterwards, after a while, after a few months or a few weeks, depending on how juicy the content is, I convert it to a blog so that I keep the attention span on it. And I have a automation for 1 year, for some topics 1.5 years, or I recycle it again, because the topics that I am having a conversation about with the other professionals, it's an ongoing thing.
Wow, you said so many interesting things.
I know.
Okay, I just want to try to go back and point them out, because I love that you were willing to start by yourself with Facebook Live just as a talking head. That takes a lot of courage and it's great practice. But the key is, and everyone listened to this, what she said about how she realized that's not really fun for her and she likes conversations. And guess what? It's so much easier when you're talking with people as well. So if you have been afraid of starting with video, interview someone or have a panel, have a discussion. So that's tip number one. The second thing you said about being aware of your perfectionism and letting that go so that you can share the conversation. I love that because, you know, sometimes business owners can be perfectionistic. So, and then the third point is the leverage piece, that you take that and you share that across channels and you continue to recycle and reshare your knowledge because it's evergreen, right? I mean, most of it doesn't change.
Yeah, especially. And also a bonus tip. I am a geek, so I like processes. And when I am hiring or not looking for different speakers, I cannot handle all the speakers at one time. There was a place where I even sought out 8 speakers. That was the max for me to handle at once.
That's a lot.
But it is a lot, but you also have to have a process behind it, right? You also have the invitation structure behind it. So definitely invest in something like Calendly so that you can handle the automation where people are getting reminders, because the last thing that you want to have is somebody to forget their meeting with you or forget that conversation, because mine is, it's live. And if you don't show up, then it's your bad, but it's also a bad for me if it's just only one guest. So because of that, I am doing multiple guests as well. The max that I have as of this year is 4 or maybe 5. Never going back to 8 because that's a lot to juggle at the same time as well. But I really love having these conversations.
That's wonderful. More gems of wisdom there about automating things so it's simple. Plus the fact that you're doing it live, you don't have to worry about editing. That just takes all that worry away. So powerful. I love these tips so much. Okay, what else? Let's see. So it's video, it's leveraged, it's repeating it, it's inviting people, it's creating processes. And then people are literally just reaching out to you saying, I saw your show, I saw you on LinkedIn Live, I saw you on Facebook, all your channels, and they're approaching you. That's amazing.
Yeah. In every conversation, there is something, especially when they look on my website or the blog, people share a gazillion quotes or quotable things.
Okay.
And I only need one snippet as a reminder, right? Because it's like you shared, it's evergreen. Some of the things that I'm doing regarding DEI, it's evergreen. And you never know who you are talking to. And the way that people react, you never know what people are seeing. So I've had different engagements. People come from all over the places. Some people are referred, or some people come directly because they saw my episode, or maybe they saw something 6 months ago, but after 6 months, they decided to reach out. So I have a lot of people who are being silent, but then say like, I feel like I know you, but
right?
Yeah.
That's you. I think you alluded to that earlier. Video is the way to reach one to many.
Yeah.
Where it's the closest thing you have to actually meeting in person. And as we know, that's difficult these days. So it's even more important to use video, but it's just that people really do feel like they know you just from watching the videos, because it's like they get to know your, you know, the way you think and your ideas. And it's so powerful. And the neat thing about it is, I mean, I love marketing. I'm kind of a weirdo. That's my thing. But I mean, most business owners don't love marketing. You want to do the work that you are meant to do. So by being so conscious and clever and leveraged and systematic about your marketing, then it's probably taking less time than it sounds like it might be. And so that you can actually do the work you love.
Yeah, it's the only time that you need to spend is setting the things up, right? And if you're not setting it up, you can always ask a VA who is skilled to set things up. As long as you know where you're heading, where you want to be seen and how you want to be noticed. Sometimes there may be some manual labor in it, but see what you can do, see where your superpowers are.
That's another great gem, is to don't try to do everything yourself. Delegating tasks to a VA or to accountant, to web designers, all these people. That's very powerful, so that you're focusing on your zone of genius. Excellent. Is there any other tips you want to share about marketing, or how to get started with video, or getting over fears, or the best first step? Any?
When it comes to getting over fears, just do it. I know it can, can be fearful. And there are, like, in this case, I knew you shared ahead that you are going to record the video, but there are also podcast interviews where only the audio is used, right? So find out, listen to your ideal platform, listen to your ideal platform where you would like to guest speak, and see if there is a way in for you to become a potential guest speaker as well. And also make it known on LinkedIn, or make it known to other people within your network, saying that you want to share more about your topic or want to speak up more about it. You don't have to create your own podcast to be able to do that. If you can leverage being on other platforms, that's totally okay. But share it. Yes. Don't forget to share it, because there is a lot of work being put out there. I know it's an investment on both ends, right? So Stephanie, I can definitely promise you that I will share it as well. Because it's also important for the guest speaker to highlight the conversation as well. Totally.
That is such good information there about asking for what you want. Put it out there. Let people know. Post it on LinkedIn. Share it with your network. That is so powerful. People want to help you. You just have to ask them. And being willing to step out there and do it is so powerful. Gosh, there's so many good tips here. Okay, so just to put it all together at the end, and then I've got one final question for you, is, so this idea that you are being visible, getting out in front of your audience, and really creating great content, but the key there, and I've done a blog post on this as well, is sharing it and keep sharing it. So, you know, sometimes people focus too much on creating content over actually sharing what you have. So take a break and go through your posts and videos and whatever you have and reshare those, and leverage. That's the key kind of theme I'm getting from you. Be efficient. One thing that I do need to add, when you look at my journey, the way I started, I did start doing this Let's Humanize the Workplace in Dutch and in English almost every week. Wow. Well, the pandemic hit, so I decided to be mindful, as in every other week Dutch and every week English. But then halfway through the sessions, I realized that the English versions were seen more, were listened to it more, and also I had an easier way into getting guest speakers, as in the Dutch guest speakers. I needed to pull, and I had to set them free. So I'm not doing any Dutch engagements anymore unless it's paid. But I stopped doing that, and everything in it is in English, because my clients are more international and the world is my oyster right now. So that's why I'm doing that. But the thing that I want to end is do it the mindful way, because as of this year, I only do it once per month, because I'm doing other training and other things for clients as well. I have to be realistic with my time and energy, and my energy is, for now, once per month. I love that. Another great lesson is you have to make decisions. And I do hear this dilemma a lot with people that have multiple languages. And that's what a CEO does, makes decisions and follow the mindful path. Brilliant. Focus on what you're good at. Okay, last question, and then we'll wrap up. You see yourself as a meaningpreneur, someone who finds their work meaningful and has an impact on others. Tell me, what's the best part of being a meaningpreneur for you? For me, the best part is I'm planting seeds now, for not only to create a more equitable and more inclusive future for this generation, but also for my son's generation. It's also because of my son that I walked away from being a consultant and do something meaningful that's close to my heart.
Is it easy? No, not at all, but it's passion. It's my calling. And when I see clients that are doing the work, are initiating their journey, or are somewhere in the middle and still continuing that, that's meaningful to me. And there's one thing, always use a hook in your training. Always use a hook. And the reason why I'm sharing that is my hook is carrot cake. It's my way of sharing what DEI is. I've been fortunate enough that some of my clients literally sent me carrot cake.
I saw that. I was drooling. It looked so
because
good.
because of the excitement and the feeling that they had, that I was thinking like, okay, now I need to think about something else, because I cannot keep up with this if people are going to send me food like this. But it's a nice way for people to remind me, but also to remind what is shared. And every time that they see a carrot cake, people have been, sharing images like, I saw this, reminding of DEI, now I remember again. So use something that is worthwhile for people to think about you months later when you're not there.
Beautiful. Another gem to end with. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights and your wisdom, Vivian. And yeah, wishing you all the best, and we will absolutely be in touch.
Thank you for having me. Yes. I enjoyed this conversation.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you for listening, everyone. You can see the links below or around somewhere around here, and get in touch with Vivian if you want to know more. Thanks for tuning in.